Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode 5 of The Forge.
Hello.
Hello. I'm Tyler.
Hello.
I am Trae.
And today we are joined by our guests, Darcy and Dutch, which, if you guys want to just introduce yourselves real quick.
So I'm Darcy. I'm the project manager of The Forge, which means I kind of oversee the teams as a whole. I'm also our head of social media, and I do help out with our broadcast team.
I'm Dutch Churchward. I'm the head of broadcast here for The Forge. Also your local lurker in pretty much any Discord channel. You can find me. I help with Darcy. Darcy has just become a producer, which is very cool.
What an introduction.
Hey,
Local lurker.
I'm your local lurker. I will always be a local lurker in this program.
That's just looking in your windows.
Since day one, I've been in the walls of this program.
Bro's sheep on Lotus right now.
Exactly, yeah. I'm just like, I sit in the back and I say hi, and then Jen calls me. I'm like, oh. I just want to be a little bug. I want to be a little bug in the room.
This explains exactly why I keep feeling like I'm being stared at in my room.
It's just Dutch. It was Dutch being a little bug.
Such a mistake to put your address on the form, which is just so in your walls. That's nuts.
That's not my address I'm living at right now, so...
Well, I don't know who's living there, but they are getting watched. Anyway.
Moving on.
Moving on.
All right. Anyways, so we know that you guys have both done some pretty important stuff for the overall just Forge and esports system here at Miami University, especially on the varsity side. I mean, if you guys kind of just want to go through how or what you guys do exactly and some of the steps along the way, see if anybody kind of gets interested in it.
Like everything and nothing at the same time.
Everything and nothing.
Yeah, I look at past all my achievements and I'm like, what the fuck did I do again? Wait a minute.
That's just how it be.
Exactly.
There's so much I've done, but then I try and find like one big achievement, and looking back, it actually isn't very big.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, I interviewed a lot of people, and I guess.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I'm like, ooh, or I'm like, oh, I yelled at the Overwatch team.
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
Whoa.
Exciting.
Why did you yell at the or?
No, that was more of a hypothetical. They're always chaotic.
They're great guys, but
they're great.
They're
just
awesome.
Always chaotic.
I think the biggest thing for me, yet again, I think about like the small things. And I'm like, like it's more like, pebbles in a bucket where it's, I do 100 things and then you can be like, oh, I've been in the Forge and like impactful member, but you pick up a pebble, it's like, I don't know.
This single thing
like,
I did isn't very like,
it's decent, I think.
I produced a stream and it's like, okay, we do 4
right,
streams a week.
Right,
like,
exactly, yeah.
I guess that's
But
one of 20 the semester.
The amount of times that I've seen Dutch by Friday and just seen how burnt out he is after running like 5 streams straight.
Last year, it was like, I helped Zach and James to produce, I was probably like 3/4 of them. I helped them produce the record amount of streams that we had in the year, which is really cool. But that did entail putting in like 20 hours for esports like a week. Like you're always at broadcast, you're always at a meeting, and being like last semester being an executive member on the club board. Like I've got the Thursday meeting, the Friday meeting, we have an online Wednesday meeting. It's just meeting galore, and then God bless, you can go home Saturday to come back Sunday and then get an announcement that you have to do something. So it was, I think like last year was kind of just like the crunch year, like tried to keep grades up,
Yeah.
It's decent, but like it's certainly not where I would be. I think if I wouldn't be putting like 20 hours of esports in, but it's just accumulative. Like I was just wanted to get out there last year. And for a career path, like for esports, it was super important, shake hands, do any volunteering event you can, like did a basketball thing where it was just like a little aim trainer, but was there for like 6 hours, and that was on a weekend, that was on a Saturday, and that was happening like pretty much every weekend. So like getting a stakehold in the program where like, you're memorable, I think is, if someone's going to get into this, that's like what you need to do, to go forward is like do every single thing you can, shake hands, kiss babies, make yourself very, make yourself viable to be, kind of an image of the program, and then just help out wherever you can. And last year, that was pretty much what I did.
I think that's very true. The kind of like you just constantly want to be volunteering yourself. I mean, that's how I got into casting.
Right.
I've told this story, I know to Dutch before, but I wasn't meant to be an Overwatch caster. I was meant to be a producer only, really. And I'm also I've said social media. I was on social media. I was in the production booth. I was doing some tweets for an upcoming Overwatch game. And the guy who's supposed to cast called out. and they were like, "Oh no, like we need a caster," and everyone just kind of turned to me and they were like, "Hey,
Hey, you know Overwatch,
they're like,
right?
yeah, you know Overwatch pretty well, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, like a decent bit. I'm probably the game I'm most knowledgeable about." And they're like, "Well, we got like 30 minutes. Do you want to cast?" And I was like, "Sure." Yeah, and then now I'm like our primary Overwatch caster because I just happened to want to hang out in the production booth and the stars aligned for me.
It's kind of like just big snowball in the program.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I wanted to be that little bug that was like, oh, small little freshman.
Yeah.
And then James was like, or Jen was like, hey, do you want to volunteer in this? And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
And then I got volunteered, and it was like, okay, now I'm going to try and go for everything, you know, where, and then you can just do that in this program, which I think is great. They'll give you any chance you can. Like, the more you can do, pretty much, is kind of the motto. It's like, if you can be, you know, producer, caster, spectator, all of those things, none of those detract from each other. You know, it's just more tools in your belt rather than like more to weigh you down.
Yeah. No, I remember one of my original draws of the program was knowing people in it, and you know, I wanted something to do, and I liked esports, I liked video games. I'm like, oh, like I know people, I can help with social media, I could help run a broadcast or something. And I joined, and I was like, after a semester or two, they were like, hey, do you want to become head of social media? And I was like, sure. And then after a semester of that, they're like, hey, our project manager is graduating. Do you want to do project managing? And now I'm like, I kind of fumbled my way into like
project manager,
like
exactly.
the most. I don't know how to describe
Accidentally
it.
caught the bag.
Yeah, like I am now like
Yeah.
leading this program. I'm the most authoritative student, most authority
Someone to be
of
feared.
students. Yeah. And so now everyone's under my like tyrannical rule because I kind of was like, oh, I'll cast Overwatch. I can post a tweet, and now everyone's suffering. And
Now we're all under you.
yeah, which is so scary. I've talked to graduated alumni, and I'm like, yeah, I'm project manager. I'm the new Zach, and they're like, oh my god, that's terrifying. I was like, yeah, thank you for the vote of confidence.
I mean, you know, last night me and Trae got, you know, kind of slandered by you, not gonna lie, you know.
Because you were slandering Dutch.
We weren't
No,
slandering
I was in the
Dutch.
bathroom. I don't know. I didn't hear any of this.
All that I said about Dutch
You
was,
said that I was a primary
No,
suspect. Can we give a background on the
didn't
gum
say-
situation?
No.
Can we talk about
There was-
this
Listen,
really
I
quick?
got accused.
I wasn't
by the head of the
Hold
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
here.
you had a lot
Wait
to
a
say
minute.
about production last
Wait a
night.
minute.
You were commentating on the Spectator, Alyssa.
Alyssa
she was being a
did
little
you see how
bug.
many Rise Up
The
Red
little
Hawks there were?
bug.
She was
There was
being
like
a little,
5 in a row.
a little groom minion.
Dude,
Okay.
a little Brooklyn rat?
I can't even
Can
get
I
a
say?
word out at this point. Wow. All right, so for like the past 3 weeks, there's been this one piece of chewed gum just sitting in the casting room.
James removed it.
And-
It was not very time, but he did get it out. I got this video of him.
Wow.
We have
Yeah.
evidence of it being removed.
The evidence of it being reviewed. It is no longer in there. Thank you so much, James.
Thank you, James.
We sent that to DNA testing, right?
And
Yeah,
then-
yeah,
Thank God.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm
Yeah.
waste more
I need
resources than we
swabs
have.
from all of you guys. We are testing this.
If the nearest trash can was named DNA testing, then yeah, it did
Yeah.
go there.
Yeah, yeah. When I find out who did it, they're going to the glue factory.
Because me and Trae were just going through the list of anybody who'd been in like the casting room in like the past 3 weeks, and we're like, well, us, but we know it wasn't either of us because we sat next to each other and saw.
Kind of weird. They're clearing each other.
This is just like
I don't know,
Among
I'm
Us.
just about to say, like, I don't know. Like, this is going to be going on for a while.
Then we went. Well, there was
That's
Harrison.
so funny you didn't say anything though, because
And-
the only time it was brought to James' attention was when Caden and I went into cast Overwatch.
Mm-hmm.
So you let it sit
No.
there for 3 weeks, and you're like, "That's
I
fine."
mean,
No, we were.
That's
didn't-
normal.
I didn't know why it was there in the first place.
You thought it was.
Let him defend himself.
No,
Let him
it's
defend
cool.
himself.
I
All
was
right.
just confused.
Let him defend himself.
Then Harrison was in for one day for a Valorant cast with me. I didn't see him do anything, so
But you sit on that side though every time. You did say that.
but we
weird process
but
of elimination here.
said that Dutch casts Rocket League basically, so obviously he's in there every week, at least once a week.
All right.
And then I think like Alyssa and Sky are like the only other people that have been in there. So that was like our suspect list of basically.
So you didn't say anything for 3 weeks and thought it was tactical gum.
I don't
that it was
think
there.
I think it was
And then we were
probably,
like, oh, we need our note
Been there
sheets,
for
we
a
need our
while.
logins, and we need
I
a
just
piece
figured-
of gum stuck
to
to
be
the
honest,
table.
I wasn't paying that much attention to it because every time when I got down there, I would instantly grab a piece of paper and just start writing down like maps and
That's fair,
stuff.
that's
I
fair.
wasn't paying attention.
Good prep. Good
I
prep.
just someone's probably just about like had gum in their mouth and didn't realize until like 30 seconds to cast, and they're like, just put it down there.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
Gone.
Gone.
But that was basically it.
But
We
also, I
weren't
mean,
like slandering or anything.
You could also
like
factor
that,
in
you
like
know?
like the whole Rocket League team was in there. They go in there like just to talk to us after their games. So like, and
Think they framed you?
what?
They
Oh,
framed you?
Josh got
no
framed.
way.
No.
It was yeesh, wasn't it?
Oh, dude, I got set off, man.
Bro,
This
no,
is
we can
crazy.
ask them about this next
Frisky
week.
get frisky
Oh,
with the
Risky getting
gum.
frisky with
Risky
it?
was
Oh
frisky
my
with the
god, that boy's all that movement back there.
No.
That clip's gonna get brought up in like 2 years, and then he's just gonna like go through a whole new hell as the
Yeah,
freshmen are just
exactly.
like the new freshmen are like, what is this?
Like, what's in varsity clips? Let me scroll up for a second.
Here's a
Risky
cr-
and frisky.
Here's a criteria of what not to do. Just show them all the clips.
Is that clip pinned in the chat?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's got to be one of those like risky for in like 2 to 3 years is never gonna stop hearing about that clip.
I'm gonna DM about it. Like, I mean,
No,
like, when I'm out of the program, I'm sending him. I'm sending him a
honest
DM and be like, remember that
On his graduating senior post, gonna link the clip as well.
on his
Our
video.
favorite risky moment is just that clip.
Yes, yeah. When he gets to senior year and none of us are here.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll be here. We'll be here.
Yeah, we'll be here.
Oh,
We got
yeah,
you.
there we
got
go.
you.
There we go.
They'll
Alright.
carry on the torch.
Yeah,
Don't
carry on the
worry.
torch, yeah.
Frisky and frisky shall live on.
Okay, great. So glad we got that.
But I mean, so outside of just your general work with like the Forge and stuff, do you guys necessarily have like any plans with esports after college that you're looking at right now? Any internships, anything along those lines, or are you just kind of doing this as like a hobby / extracurricular thing to be interested in?
I feel like I'm more on the side of a hobby because I like video games. I like Overwatch, like League of Legends. I like, games in our varsity lineup. But I don't see myself being a broadcaster professionally or running social media professionally. I mean, I'm a computer science major, so this was a hobby, and now I'm kind of into like cybersecurity. So there's a very, very niche industry of cybersecurity in games, which would be nice, but like that is probably the extent.
Please make us a better Rainbow Six anti-cheat. I don't.
Listen,
how much do I have to?
It is like a known thing that video game companies do not like to invest in their like cybersecurity teams. That's why it's such a niche market because they're just like, whatever happens.
Yeah, find the right game, I guess though. Like if you can find a game that does it, like, well, I shouldn't say CS because VAC obviously
Yeah.
very
Back.
bad.
Well, apparently it's getting updated for CS2, and it's
Allegedly.
gonna be better.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Okay.
All right.
They've,
We've been
they've
hearing that
also
one.
said that for like the past 10
That's what I'm
years.
saying.
So
You're just spreading lies.
Yeah, so true.
There's also
Accusing
that-
and then spreading lies.
I
That's
know.
crazy.
This is just like Among Us.
Worse and worse by the
Just
second.
like
We need a med base scan in here, bro. Get the truth out of them. For me, like on the topic of esports, I'm on the way opposite side
Yeah.
than Darcy. Like I since 12, like I wanted to be like in the industry of esports. I started playing Rocket League in 2016 when it came out on Xbox. And then I started playing and I was like, hey, this is great. And then my brother started beating me. And me and my brother are the most competitive people in the world. Like, I love that dude more than anything, but I won't let him beat me at shit. I mean, like, you can track my whole life lineage, like everything from like powerlifting, academics, like bro hit a 335 squat.
It's
and
all about one-upping him.
Yes, yeah, like literally, I was freshman year, I couldn't squat more than 185, and Cash was hitting 335, and I devoted my whole high school career to getting better at powerlifting than him. And then I blew his lifts out of the water, and he'll never forget it. Like, I bring it up every time.
Incredible.
Yeah, so like I was classically the one, like when I was like 11 or 12 that was good at video games. And like I played soccer at the time, so I was like, whoa, Rocket League, woo, like, very cool game. And then previously, Cash had beaten me at Call of Duty, and I kind of resigned to that one because bro was goated. I don't know what to say. He had more brain development. That is a pretty big factor.
Is COD more brain development or is it less brain development?
No, the brain development
I mean,
just-
you're kind of right about that.
just-
I'm not gonna lie.
No, it's just more insults to throw out in the voice chat. That's really the deciding factor
Exactly.
there.
Just give you more tools. But then he started beating me at Rocket League, and I was like, this is my stand. This is when I don't give up. And then I committed 9 years to Rocket League. So, hit pro, and he was always supportive. Like, it was never like, oh, you're good at it. I mean, hell, during some of my tournaments, during like school nights when I was playing like 8 to 10 hours a night, like he would bring me dinner like up to my room when I was playing Rocket League. And he's so supportive. Like, love that guy. But I knew like right from that moment when I was like, you're not going to beat me. I was like, I'm either going to be the best in the world or I'm going to like run the scene when I'm older. And it was just for Rocket League at the time, but now it applies to like more general esports. Like my dream is to be an event or tournament organizer or event manager for esports specifically, or caster or broadcaster, because I'm casting with ESC this season, which is really cool, super cool opportunity. Shout out to Zach. He got me that application. And then, yeah, just try and go as far as I can with it. I'm a sports leadership and management major, so it goes hand in hand, just kind of progressing through my career, getting to event organizing, that's like a senior year thing. And I'm going to Luxembourg next semester, and I'm going to hopefully actually meet some of the esports teams. I'm going to be sending in resumes, actually, this November. So my goal kind of, and this is a horrible thing for a student to say, obviously, for the program, but, like, my dream goal, graduating college, really comes second. If I could get and like go to Europe and then they say, hey, like, we'll take you on, like, hell, it could be the lowest level of esports. Like, they could, hey, you're the floor manager, or you're the equipments manager. You get to stay here like 12 hours, clean up before and after. I'd be like, dude, put me on. I would get my visa like immediately, and then I'd live in Europe for the next whenever. Like, it's a deep rooted dream that I'm chasing right now. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely inspirational, not gonna lie. To see
It's been a long road. It's been a long road.
That's that committed.
Yeah.
Especially...
I do enjoy the contrast. I'm like, oh, I fumbled my way up. And you're like, I have been training since I was 12.
I came to Miami, I came to Miami for the esports program. Like, I went to a summer camp 2 years ago, the summer between my junior and senior year, and I had like horrible grades in high school because I played Rocket League all day. All I would do is play like Rocket League tournaments, and I would practice Rocket League. I was playing like actually 10 to 12 hours a day, and I had like a 2.6, and like going into senior year, and they were like, yeah, like that's not college GPA. And then just randomly, a friend of ours found the Miami of Ohio Esports camp for the summer, and we don't run it anymore. I was going to be a counselor last summer, but womp womp. I know. Womp womp. But then I'd go to the camp, and it's like a little 7-day camp. I stayed there, had an amazing time, got really good friends with Jen, James, and then didn't get to see Zach, but there was another guy, Money Pockets is his gamer tag. Complete inspiration to me. And I just decided, like, last day to be vulnerable here, bawling my eyes out on the way home, because I was like, I don't think I'm going to make it into Miami. Like, I don't think I have the GPA for it. Like, I'm just mentally, I was so defeated, and I decided, like, right then and there that Miami was going to be, like, home where I was going. And then I proceeded to get first semester of senior year, I got a 3.9, and second semester, I got a 3.8. And it pulled my overall GPA up to a 2.9. And I got 14 letters of recs because I kept asking people.
Nice.
And then, like, I got a letter of rec. I don't know, I was a nice kid in high school. Got one from the principal of my high school, and then the vice principal, which is really cool. Shout out to those guys if they ever hear this.
Do we want them to hear this?
No, I don't think so. I don't know, man. Mr. Hansen balling out there.
You introduced yourself as a lurker and little bug.
True. But then, I made like this whole video to get in of like all my interests, because I was so sure I was like fucked. I was so sure I wasn't getting in. And then I got in, and it's been Sweet 16 ever since. I'm just happy. It's great.
Yeah, that's definitely, I don't know, that's like, that's so dope to me.
Oh, thank you.
Like,
Thank you.
The difference between us is like
It's
widening.
crazy, yeah.
Miami
This
was
is,
like
like,
one
the
of my
perfect
backups.
episode.
Miami was like, and they gave me a lot of money, like,
Yeah.
I guess. And then I went here, and then my first year was awful. I hated it because I was a COVID freshman. Fall of 2020, no one was meeting in person. We were locked in our dorms basically all the time. I was in the basement dorm. It was even worse. Fun fact, I was on the news, though. My window was, because my roommate and I spelled out help in Post-it notes. They put that on the news. But I hated Miami. I was convinced I was going to transfer out. I was like, this shit sucks.
Right.
Like, there's nothing to do. This campus isn't for me. My older brother went here, and he was very stereotypical. He was like a frat boy, business major. Just the most stereotypical Miami man you can think of.
Right.
And I was like, I am very much opposite of him. I'm introverted. I like video games. I'm a quirky gal.
Right.
Don't want to join the Greek life. And so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna dip out of here. And then like mid spring semester, I started finding like Caden and like all my current friends, and I was like, yeah, I guess there's an upside to Miami. And then that fall, I started like looking more into the esports side of things. But yeah, such a difference between us.
Right. When you like kind of fumbled it, I was like, oh man, this is gonna be like.
Yeah, you were like, oh, I'm crying, I won't get in. I'm like, I was crying because I had to go here. I was like, ah.
Yeah, right. I mean, but it's crazy that we both ended up I think that's the difference. Is like you both end up in the same spot somehow. By God-given luck, you could somehow end up in the same spot. But I think that's cool.
Yeah. It's interesting.
That is really interesting. Hey, I mean, I think that's just as honorable that like you stuck it out through hardship. Like I did hardship in two different ways here. I was like, I'm gonna make it, and you're like, I don't really want to make it.
I have to join Greek life.
80% male Greek life, which that's pretty crazy.
Wait, is that?
Wait, really?
Yeah.
That's a real statistic?
Yeah. 80%
That's so
male
scary.
Greek life. Yeah.
So scary.
Go to Miami.
Please don't actually throw up on that.
20% are just freshmen who haven't rushed yet.
Dude, I bet it's probably 30 or 40% freshmen that are just like all signing up. Like rush week for like Greek life is ridiculous.
Yeah.
The most degen shit I've ever seen.
When is Rush Week?
It's sometime in the spring.
Yeah, sometime in the spring. Rush Week is just where all the freshmen, like all the frat houses hold like open houses for people that want to come in. And then freshmen flock. And typically like the Greek houses will have parties like that night. So, of course, you've got 80% of the campus going to,
drunk as hell.
Oh, drunk as hell. I mean, I'm sure there's like peak arrests in that, period. I'm sure. But, that's Miami.
Yeah.
So it's like the average night at Brick, except on campus
Like
instead of
amplified,
uptown.
yeah.
Yeah. You can't walk the streets without seeing them.
And sororities
impressive.
weren't for me. I remember doing the sorority rush week or the equivalent of it. Like every other girl on my floor was rushing. And this is when we had to do one-on-ones with our RAs. So I sat down with him, and he was going over his little questions. And he's like, "Are you rushing?" And he looks over at me, and he goes, "Yeah, I don't think you are." Like, he looks me up and down. And I was like, okay,
brutal.
Listen, you're right.
Damn.
But, like, that was brutal.
Yeah,
And
that's
he
nuts.
didn't mean it in a rude way. He wasn't trying to be offensive. He just, like, was asking the question. And then, like, he actually looked at me, assessed me, and was like, "Yeah, I don't think you are." And I was like, well... Yeah, thanks.
Holy. Jeez.
I mean,
I think it just very much sums like my freshman experience, that little interaction with my RA.
Little pebbles.
Little pebbles.
I don't understand like the draw of Greek life.
Drink.
I guess.
Drink,
friend. Yeah. It's for people who like, and I'm not gonna hate on people in Greek because some like fraternities or sororities are like actually like business based. Like we have like I think a top 10 business frat here at Miami, which is insanely hard to get into. I know some people and they have to do like the same hours, like and even more. They have to do like 20-30 hours a week of like working on presentations to go win like business conference competitions where like you go present a big statistic. And that's like, sure, they still do like kind of the drinking stuff, but at the same time, those connections can get you way higher in the business world. It's like specializing. Like you can be in farm school business at the highest point, but you won't necessarily get those connections that you would in like a business frat. But everyone who just makes a frat that's not associated with like business or sports, they're just friends and drink.
Friend
drink.
Yeah.
Friend drink.
I just couldn't imagine living in a house with people.
I couldn't either.
Like,
I really couldn't.
For me, don't get me wrong, Trae. I do enjoy living with you. It's nice, but
I feel like you're about to
This is
like...
about to be roommate drama.
You're
like-
gonna diss me like...
no, I'm not dissing you. I'm dissing the fact of like simply living in a dorm with like so many people, even just separated by rooms that you don't necessarily have to see them all the time. If the second I walk out of my bedroom and I go down to like the living room and there's like 20 other guys just sitting there, no.
Yeah.
Please.
I mean,
I
I think it's helped by the fact that you're all like brothers, like everyone becomes really close friends. But I think I just enter that house and be like, yo, doing homework. Like, we're going out. It's like, I don't know. I'm tired.
Yeah.
I don't really want to, and then like hazing and all that kind of stuff. Like, ugh.
Yeah.
And like Greek rivalries, dude. Like, dude.
Who cares?
I was about to say, do something better, bro. Like, I don't do something for your career. Oh, we're really beefing with Kappa Alpha. It's like, who gives a shit, dude? We do not care. Like that's
least
the
in
shit that
sports
happens.
rivalries, there's like something substantial
It's
there.
like, our pride. It's like, bro, at the end of the day, you're a cumulative of like 10 people who drinks obsessively and hangs around, and you're beefing with each other. Like, that's the most homie thing you can do. Is like, just hang around and drink, and you're beefing. That's crazy.
They just need something to care about that isn't drinking, I guess.
Dude, I guess.
I live next to 2 frat houses. constantly. Always music. Someone's always drinking. Every time I walk by, it always smells like weed.
Rally, baby, rally.
Listen.
Get up and drink again.
It's constant.
Down at 7, up at 6 p.m. or a.m. It doesn't matter. Rally.
Yeah,
You need to
I'm
get up.
impressed by their mental fortitude.
Yeah.
If I had listened to my roommate
work
playing
itself.
music 24/7, I would just kill myself.
End all be all.
Yeah.
Glue factory immediately.
Glue factory
Glue
immediately.
factory that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane. I don't know how they do it.
I have like come to the conclusion at this point from being on campus for a little. We're about 2 months now.
Yeah.
That some people just don't understand what headphones are.
Oh,
Like,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
They'll be walking around, phone in their front pocket, blasting Lizzo. It's like, what's the thought process? Like, I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not out here trying to say I have exquisite music taste, because I understand I don't. However, I still enjoy it.
Yeah.
But if I'm gonna blast it, I'm blasting it to myself. No one else has to deal with it. All
Oh,
right.
you don't like Lizzo? Too fucking bad.
You and everyone else in a 30-foot radius will be listening to Lizzo. Thank you.
Oh, you're trying to make your commute to Farmer School of Business Lizified. I don't know what to tell you.
This will be upon ye.
But I mean, from you guys, what's been? So I know that you guys have kind of talked about like coming to Miami as a whole, and Darcy, you talked a little bit more about Miami and kind of why you stayed / almost left. But like, do either of you guys kind of have like a memory, be it esports, non-esports, as to why you kind of decided to stay here, or like kind of stood out to you over the year? How you're junior,
Sophomore.
junior, senior?
Yeah.
Sorry,
It's okay. You know.
I've met so many people at this point trying to keep
He's
everything
just so
straight. It's
popular.
like-
He's so popular. We're just one of many.
No,
Yeah.
Give me up.
I feel disrespected now.
Unironically, meeting the amount of people just through esports that I have, it has been so hard to keep everyone straight.
Yeah.
Not including the numerous Discord calls that have happened in the Valorant Club esports, where I've just been. I don't even remember half
people
these.
in a voice call.
Yeah.
No, like literally for the community night, I think it got up to 23.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
insane.
and then
And I was
in-
just like, what is happening here?
I was just in a call. The hall was just started like spilling tea. I got bored. So I started streaming Run 3, and then Sky was like, "Your dog shit at this. Let me show you how it's done." Speech runs the game in like 30 minutes, and I'm still on level like 20. I'm like, what the hell?
Dude, I think that's the equivalent of a frat house. I think
The Valorant frat
that
house?
function is exactly how it happens, where it's just like 20 dudes just hanging
Just
out.
guys being dudes.
Some guy's just down in a 40, like some other guy's playing Mario, and then someone else is like, "Yo, I can do that better than you." And it's like, "Shaw?"
Yeah.
Like, are we chilling? And then he beats it. Like, I think that's
Nah,
exactly what it is.
That night, it turned into a combination of one person playing Subway Surfers and the Discord call. Trae ended up going to World's Hardest Game.
I got to like level 8.
Then 2 to 3 other people were still talking about the drama that had been talked about for like 4 hours at this point. It had been going for a while.
Hype.
I had joined the call strictly because I wanted to play some Val ranked.
Wrong
and we just
move.
never
Wrong
did.
move.
we
That will
queued-
not happen.
We
played-
queued one game.
No, I queued 2. You queued 1, and we're waiting for a 5th. But then they're like, "Well, we're waiting for a 5th."
That's exactly how it happens every time.
Then a 5th came, and we did
And
not
did
queue
not
another.
play.
I've never been directly involved with the esports club. Like, I've always just kind of like had a lot of friends in it, and I hear stories from it. But whenever I hear about it, it's always drama. There's
Oh,
always
yeah.
something happening.
And from the exec side, like, we eat that shit up. Like, we love it. We have, like, not to spill the beans here, hopefully no one else listens to this, but we have a log of like, and we can see your deleted messages.
Yeah.
So like we can see all the messages when it was like "kill yourself" edited to "oh that's so nice." Has that happened before? Yes, that happens all the time. Where it's just like it's usually just like joking, but like we'll see like. You know, we had someone one time post like Palestinian propaganda for like 8 paragraphs and then all gone within 30 minutes. we sat there in a meeting and we were like, is this person like stable? You know, we were like, can we allow this? You know, it's not. But yeah, that server's a riot, man. Specifically Valorant. That's
thing
the
is-
thing we've had the most trouble with.
What's so funny about that is I'm not on any of the club teams. The only reason I like go into that server ever is because of Trae. and whoever Trae's playing with,
That's
and then he's
awesome.
like, "Hey, we need a fifth. You want to play?" And I'm like, why not? So I'll boot up. I'm like bronze 2 on top of that.
That's
so like,
it's a different game in the Miami server.
Well, the thing is,
that ain't Valorant.
half the time there's like a diamond to ascendant
Yeah.
Smurf playing with
yeah.
us, and it's just
All the
like,
time.
I don't even like understand what's happening half the time. I'm just kind of
As said, different game.
playing and just like,
Yeah.
It's one-sided 10-mans. You know these people and you're friends with them, but you see it's like we've never played before.
One town goes in, locks in Reyna, no comms, got 35 kills.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's so great. You hop in there, like I hop in ranked, and I think like Miami 10-mans are like an echelon above like ranked. Like, I go in ranked, I'm like, all right guys, let's have a great game. I get in Miami 10-mans, it's like, fuck you, I insta-lock Reyna. Don't ever get on my team again. You're dog shit. You're gonna stay back, throw my flashes. Like, that's how it happens every single time. Like I don't get that much disrespect in a ranked lobby, dude. Or at least I can report the person. I gotta see that person when I go in the next day. Like I have direct ties to these people. That's exactly how it is every single time. Yeah, it's either one tap or the hall. That's just like you think you're getting duelist or insta throw because 4 duelists locked. Like it's the same every time. It's a cesspool by the basic definition, I think.
I mean, the hall's over here trying to teach Trae how to play Jet now. So
I'm right, which is crazy. I had 2 games in that server, and that's exactly how it is. That's crazy. It's still like that.
I was over here, and Trae was like, "Who do you think I should learn? You know, for like a new agent?" I was like, "Maybe KO, because you can play a bit more aggressive and still have like initiator util and stuff like that. You know, still."
Yeah.
And the hall's just like, "Learn Jet," and I'm just like,
Goated.
"Bro."
Perfect. Like that's awesome. Oh, back to the memories thing. Did you already?
Yeah.
Did you already share yours? Sorry.
God, it's like pebbles. It's like I'm thinking of them,
I know.
and they're really funny to me. But I'm gonna say the story out loud, and it's gonna be like the worst shit you ever heard. It'd be so lame. Like one time, my friends and I were joking together, but that's the punchline. Like that's what I'm saying. Like it's hard to have a good memory because like so many of my memories are like about inside jokes that happen in the moment.
Yeah.
Like there was one time we did show up to an esports club. They had a trivia night run by our friend Omar.
General
We
meeting.
spent the entire night making fun of Omar via Kahoot. So it was a Kahoot nickname. And we'd put in we'd be like Omar's mom. We'd be like, "What are you doing, Step Omar?" Just shit like that. Pissed him off. And then we ended up winning. And my friend, she has these hoodie sleeves that are 5 feet long. So we took her hoodie sleeves and we tied it to the Jolteon plush we were on. And she just started swinging it around. And that was the night. And that is just one of my fondest memories
That's
of
hype.
just watching her swing around using her hoodie sleeve. And yeah, we just dragged it.
That's sick.
We had to walk back to our house together. She just dragged it on the ground, like through the mud, on the concrete. And, like looking back, like it's not that funny to anyone who wasn't actively present and watching her fuck up this Jolteon or whatever. But like it's so infinitely funny when I look back in my mind and putting in like Omar's mom and then him looking at me and like wanting to kill me.
I think a big thing of like the program is we do like so much all the time.
Yeah.
You know, like meetings Fridays, like especially for you guys, even you guys like new in the program, and still you got a lot under your belt in terms of like, if you could think of a memory, we can think of like every Friday meeting, you know, or we can think of every broadcast. There's something from like every single event that is super memorable. And that's why I love it. You know, it's great not to be, you know, fucking cookie cutter emotional here. but like, it's so awesome to have what feels like a little family in the program where it's like, you know, everything may be going to shit, but like we're still having a great time doing it, you know, and like every broadcast, it's, you know, high fives and handshakes before and after cast. Everyone enjoys doing it. We just do it for the love of the game, you know, because we sure don't get paid. So, you know,
I
it's
wish,
man.
man.
I wish too. Darcy's sitting over here, the only paid one.
Actually, I'm like one of 2 employees
Okay,
paid.
yeah.
The other one's the Overwatch coach,
All right.
so...
What? That's so
Wait.
fucking random.
Hey, and soon the League of Legends coach.
Wow. Clap it
that's
up,
so
guys.
right.
Clap
But
it
that's
up.
also because the League of Legends coach is like helped coach, I believe.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
he
they're
helped
like
coach
pro.
someone to
Pro.
Masters.
Yeah.
Well,
And
the
he's like-
Overwatch coach was pro. You know that, right?
Oh, Fozix?
Fozix, he played for in the Washington team
Oh,
in the
the
Overwatch
real-
League. Like
Oh.
he has like a pro player
Yeah, 'cause
profile
James was
on
telling
the
us about that.
Overwatch
James
wiki.
was telling us about that.
yeah.
'cause
So he was pro. Yeah.
Wow.
Because he had messaged Miami like before he came over, and he was like, "Hey, is it cool if I get my degree here?" and,
Is it
That's
still?
kind of hype.
Is it still?
and they were just like, "Sure,
I guess,
why
yeah.
not?" You know. And he ended up like he was captain for I think a year or two.
I remember
And
that last
then-
year.
Maybe, yeah.
Because at least that was what Kabanga was kind of saying on Sunday when we had talked for the podcast actually. And then he started coaching, and Kabanga only had good things to say about that man. Like they're just so wholesome. The Overwatch team is
Yeah.
wholesome.
Love
Yeah.
the Overwatch team. They're great.
They're great.
They're great. And they're good.
It
they're
helps.
great. They're great people, and they're just goated at their
They
game.
probably
which is cool.
are, if not our best game. I think
I would say.
Smash is the only team that beats them. Because Smash, we have people who are
Oh,
like
Smash is so
like
cracked.
top 5 in all of Ohio.
Yeah.
Which I think is so funny
Scoops
to me.
was ranked 4 in Ohio for the
Yeah.
summer
And
rankings.
Ferb's probably top 5 in Ohio, except he doesn't go to anything. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's also, according to people at Miami who have played against him much more than me, number 2 ICs in the world.
I
That's
believe
what-
it. There's not many left.
No,
Yeah.
that's what Semi said. But
Semi-
there was a
Pool of,
recent
like, 20.
there was a recent ranking done by some like random Twitter account, some Smash something.dg, one of those, and I think Ferb was ranked as the highest ice climbers in the U.S.
Yeah.
But that was still like 6th in the world. There was like a bunch of people from Japan and Europe higher.
But still,
So-
like
Still,
number
that's
6 in
crazy.
the
I was
world.
gonna say, yeah.
like-
6th in the world, number
And
1
he
in the
was-
U.S. Like
And wasn't he like top 500 or 200 or something?
top 500 like across players from a different ranking, I think.
Gosh.
So
Yeah.
like
That's
we
sick.
have cracked people
Yeah.
here at
Yeah.
Miami
Yeah.
for
Pretty-
esports in
yeah.
general, I feel like.
Yeah.
No, we have
you know.
talented players. Just the forge behind it is like always on fire. Something's always wrong.
Yeah, right.
Why do you think it's called the Forge? We always have to have a flame going, else we're
Actually,
not doing
so
our job.
So what an inspirational way to spin that.
Yeah, it's so
My
true.
job is making me develop an eye twitch. I'm always so stressed and annoyed with what's going on. And you're like, oh, it's because we're the forge. Love it. Thank you, buddy, for that little bit of inspiration.
You know, you gotta.
Damn, you don't have to make me sound like some kid show.
This,
like
this podcast has
cartoon.
been nothing but just ripping on him. Like,
Bro, Toys R Us him. That's
Like,
crazy.
I'm just over here trying to like get a vibe going, and Darcy's just
It's like at the end
yeah,
of the-
no,
Bro, it's like,
fuck
you
you,
Barney
and
ass.
fuck you.
You're like,
Barney ass.
you're like at the end of-
Yes.
it's like at the end of the Paw
and
Patrol
you
episode
put the
where
gum
like
on the table.
it's the end of the Paw Patrol episode where it's like, remember kids, sharing is always good. And then you're
Just lighten bro up. I think back to memories. After that.
We're really good at getting off topic.
Dude, I'm regrounding. Like I'm trying to reground here. That is hard to think of like a favorite memory. I think for me, I've had a lot of like fun memories now, but like we're certainly stressful in the moment. Like my first Rocket League cast, I did with Zach up in the production room because we actually
Christ.
that
Oh,
that
yeah.
arrow is so scuffed. The unpainted wall.
Unpainted wall with you could see
Yeah,
some
the
shit back
smears,
there. Yeah,
yeah.
with the light on and like there was a horrible like
Yeah,
counter glare.
yeah.
That was really bad. But I remember like they told me the whole thing was I went to like Jen and Zach and I was like, hey, like what's the pipeline to cast? Because I thought it was, they kind of presented it to me like, well, you're gonna have to do a bunch of shit first. If you want to cast, like you got to be really kind of on the board here. And I was like, all right, whatever you need. And so they said it was gonna take like a month, 2 months before I ever like touched like casting. And I was like, all right, that seems like it's for a university. And Jen was like, yeah, you got to go through like some training, you got to do production stuff, some formal training. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And then 2 weeks in, I just got really good friends with Zach, just like connections, and saw Jen again. And she was like, hey, Rocket League caster isn't going to be here this week. Like, it's
Ooh,
2
falling
weeks in.
upwards, yeah.
Exactly. She was like, you want to cast? And I was like, okay, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
at this point I'm like, oh, I still got like a month and a half before I get like formally trained, and then from then on I always casted Rocket League. Like I haven't stopped.
Yeah.
That's just apparently how like good casters are born. Just like
Yeah.
you happen to be in the right
wanna
place at
cast?
the right time, and
Yeah,
they're
pretty
like,
much.
like get in the booth.
Yeah, the first broadcast
yeah.
I've ever been to, James was just like, want to hop on the mic with me, map 1? I was like, sure. That's the first
I
thing I
remember
showed
that.
you.
Yeah.
And
then
I just kind of got left up in the production room by my
Tough.
It was
You got your
me.
time. You got
It was
your time.
me, Dutch, and Luca all sitting up in the production
Yeah.
room as Luca was just spectating and focusing so intensely on it.
I know.
And then
Bro treats spectating like it's VCT. It's like, dude, we got 20 people. Like, listen, I get it, but like, what are you doing?
And Dutch was over here just kind of like vibing,
I was just
chilling,
producing. Just
yeah,
having
he was
fun
just
producing.
producing. And I was like splitting attention because the Akron stream was on, and they were like saying, "Hey, yo, make sure you record it and stuff."
right,
and I was like watching some of it just because why not? The maps were like 13-3, 13-2.
That's pretty
like
bad.
we for both teams, like we just ran through. It wasn't close. And then I think game 2 was Alyssa and Sky that casted that.
Yeah, because gosh, yeah.
Because they were up there too, and they were just messing around the entire time. Like there was no sense of like focus going on.
And then we had Logan and who were the other two that came in? It was Logan and Fuad that came in later, and then it created carnage.
Yeah, it was just
me and James were like mauled at how many people were in there. Me and James DM'd immediately afterwards. We were like, never that many people in there again, and that's why like I limit like. We've got a producer, a spectator, and then someone that kind of wants to watch, and then maybe a supervisor. So like 4 max ever, and that pretty much includes casters. Like no more than 6 people, including casters, should really be up there because it's just it's a tough environment when like if you mess one thing up, you mess it up for 20 plus people. And I mean, of course, it is only 20 people, but you want to be able to like do your job right.
Yeah.
And for the casters, like that's why I got into the. It was me and Jen that really wanted to format, and this was last year. The like dress well, and that's not because we like how it looks. That's because if you guys ever go on to more serious casting like ESC, like if they look back at your VODs, you look you look great while you're casting. The production is great, everything looks great, and they would 100% hire someone like that looks awesome and has a very professional tone over someone that's wearing like a super baggy hoodie, that's kind of sitting back. It's the professional manner of like, we want to promote you guys, even though, sure you could misconstrue it like, oh, it's the program that wants to look good. You guys look amazing, and there's no reason not to have you guys look great for future opportunities. You don't go into a job interview, fucking, ramen shirt with,
You're wearing
with
like a
some
tattoo from
slacks on.
stains on it,
Exactly,
yeah.
like
so I
the
may
same
or
thing.
may not have accidentally gone into an interview wearing a NASA shirt because hold on, let me
rocks,
give.
dude.
Let me give. So I was just going in to ask if they had any applications open. And I just showed up in like a NASA shirt and some sweatpants because I wasn't like anticipating interviewing or anything like that. I was just walking in asking if they were hiring and then walking out. And the person was like, "Yeah, we are. Actually, our owner's here right now. Do you want to interview?" And I'm
That's not your
like,
fault.
"Sure."
No,
Cool, throw me
this is continuing the like you just happen to be the right place at the right
Yeah.
time, and
Yeah.
they're just like it's your time now.
Yeah.
and that's it.
I wish that was a job that was worth it for it being the right place at the right
Is that
time.
Chick-fil-A?
No, that was
Okay.
Your Pie. I made like $9.25 an hour.
Nice.
And
Orbital.
Hey,
there was only like a max of 7 of us working a shift, and we would have over like 300 people coming through
Jeez.
on a day.
That's probably why they could take you for the interview that day.
Yeah.
their fucking run through rate is so
Yeah.
high. It's
Yeah.
just like come in the next day, quit the next.
It actually was though. The amount of time, like we basically had gone through an entire new staff, but by the time I left, and I had been there
Nice.
for a little over 6 months, and I was considered old at the end of my time.
Frozen elder over half a year. That's crazy.
I think it was a little under 6 months, and I had seen the entire like staff basically change.
W manager.
Hey, that's the same for me.
What a
That
boss.
was the
I saw all of our managers who I started with leave. A GM basically kicked them all out.
Nice.
Like,
That's incredible.
Good start.
that's
Yeah.
how it was for
Great
me
start.
because I was second shift stalker at Walmart. Was my it was like a second job. I had a first job, but that was a little different. But like I was only there for like a year and a half maybe before I went to college, and I was like the oldest person still on that team. Like there's some people that still work there, but they moved teams. So I was like, it just felt weird. Like I'm 18 and I'm the most experienced person here. Like
Yeah.
that's just crazy to me.
I mean, even just like the amount of I remember my first like stream that I was supposed to do here was during the Wi-Fi saga.
Oh,
Which
the classic.
We've
Yeah.
already talked about the
Yeah.
Wi-Fi saga on the podcast. But
We don't love it. We don't love it.
I was supposed to cast that Akron Valorant game, which was week 2, which was supposed to be a really good game apparently, but also, one of the people on the Akron team shouldn't have been on the Akron team because that was when Acorn was
Yep.
not eligible.
Yeah.
So it got canceled because of Wi-Fi. Didn't get to cast it, and then finally got to cast the next week, I think. So I did end up casting finally, but it took like 3 weeks.
Yeah, I felt
And
that saga. I felt crushed. Like when I was trying to assign people to like who's gonna cast, I was like, man, we got 2 people that just got fucked over from a broadcast.
because it
And,
was
yeah.
me and Alyssa that were supposed to cast together, and we were both like really looking forward to it. We get down there, we were testing the mics, and we're like, yeah, we're really excited. We had written up like all the stats from last game.
That
We
was
had
when
like
me and you were running to.
Yeah, that was
This-
the night. No,
yeah.
no, that was for Rocket League, wasn't it?
Oh yeah,
It
that
was
was
Rocket-
that was when
sorry.
we
That
desperately
one was
ran to King.
insane too.
Yeah.
because
So fun.
we had gone through the VODs from last week and we had prepped stats for like Comfy
That's
and
not
like
what I do for
I was
Overwatch.
gonna say,
Overwatch,
that's
I sit
crazy.
down and I lie into the mic. If I forget the meta, I just make it up on the spot. I'm like, Roadhog counters Pharah. Send. I'm like, yep. And I'm like, Symmetra is really great into, Lucio.
Send.
And I'm like, yep, send. Like, good thoughts are coming out for me right
Fucking
now.
retweet immediately.
I'm like, yeah,
So
I think
quick.
Bonesaw is our DPS. They shoot people, and then I'm like, yep, this is good. And then Dutch is like, come back next week. Let's keep doing this.
but I mean just in general, like what you said for like the casting pipeline. I don't believe that was ever a thing, to be honest, with how
I don't think it was either.
with how I just
I'm gonna be super honest.
the fact that James was literally just a Trae, like, you want to cast tonight?
That's what, you need cosmic alignment to become a caster. We don't pick you directly. The stars pick you. You just have to be in that right spot at the right time. And then someone just gets the urge to look at you and be like, you know what? Do you want to talk into a
cast?
mic for a bit? Yeah.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen. If
That's
that
how-
doesn't happen
that's
to
always
you,
how it works.
you're probably not a good caster.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well,
Sorry to break it to you.
I've been casting like that literally is how it works because like I casted before Miami, casted Rocket League for 4 years, and like I tried my hardest. I'd casted some pretty big events, but I never felt like that like traditionally like good caster. Even over 4 years, I felt like improvement. Then I got to Miami, and they're like, cast. And I was like, snap, finally it was a good cast. So I was like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Like I can't generate it myself, but when Jen goes, you want to hop on a cast? It's like, boom, stars
Yeah.
align and you're just good. It was like, all right, cool.
Yeah, like my first time on the mic, I felt like so nervous, especially since it was James next to me. I was like, I don't know what to say. I don't know much about this game.
Same with
But then-
Zach, bro. I was like,
Yeah,
Rocket
but
League.
I don't know why.
Woo!
It's
Car soccer.
Even like last night was like my 4th or 5th time. I just already feel so much more comfortable. It might just
Yeah.
be because like you're there. But like,
I was gonna
there's
say, I
still-
think that we've also figured out like a good dynamic between
Yeah.
each other to
Yeah,
fill
no.
spots well.
Dutch was
and-
running little experiments
That's
on
exactly
you guys,
why I
like
did
guinea
it
pigs.
because I wanted
No.
to see,
and I kind of hate and appreciate Dutch for that.
Yeah.
It's dude, it's
I
how
don't
it
know.
goes. It's
Nothing-
how it goes. Listen,
Nothing against Sky. I hated that night. That night sucked for me when I casted it because I felt awful the entire
Oh.
time because I knew exactly how Trae had felt then. The past time that we casted together, and I'm like, wow, I'm this awful. I'm this
You need
bad.
a good dynamic with your co-caster. You have to
And-
know how to
Oh,
pass
yeah.
that off.
And immediately after that, I ended up watching a video from Sideshow. Sideshow, if you know who he is, he's like one of the top Valorant casters. About like how he kind of casts and how him and his coworker kind of work off of each other and kind of make sure to leave openings. And I'm just like, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And I just started doing it, and it's worked out, I would say, relatively well since
Yeah.
then. I would hope you would back me up. on
Yeah,
that,
it is
but
better, yeah.
I think the biggest piece of advice that I could ever give for a caster is never forget that it's a conversation. It's not like you are commentating a game, but at the end of the day, it shouldn't sound like, on and then cut one off and then cut one off. It's like it should be a really nice flow. The best casters sound like they're just having a good time casting, and they're just kind of talking with each other. And you can get those really hype moments like you would like watching a football game or something. But at the end of the day, you don't want it to sound forced. You know, like there's a lot of casters that are like, and then this happens, and to you, or you know, it's like, and this, and then the other person can't pick up the slack. You would never say that in conversation.
Yeah.
You'd never be like that. So like for casting, it's just really important, especially for newer casters, to be like, just enjoy it, like you guys enjoy it, you know. But like I'm sure you felt like with Sky or when you guys were with different casters that like. It's when it's not a conversation, it like hurts. It feels bad when you can't have a good trade-off between your caster.
It also didn't work well because me and Sky, in terms of how we cast similarly in terms of the amount we want to talk, but completely opposite in what we want to talk about. Because I'm the way more serious, like analyze the game type person, and she's just like. Hee hee ha ha, that's funny.
Which like could work as a dynamic if you guys want to pass it off correctly.
We had never done anything together before, and we were both just trying to talk, and she just has the bigger personality out of the two of us. Because even in general, I know it probably doesn't necessarily seem like it right now / when I cast, but like in my personal life, I'm not super outgoing. Whenever I show up at a club, Trae can kind of like agree with me on this. Whenever we show up to Smash Club, both of us just kind of like stand together in a corner as we wait for stuff to start up.
Just watching like semi-set, like, oh, he's pretty cool with Ridley, I guess. And then we just walk over to a friendly setup.
No, this is like, we would be like, you want to play, you want to like go talk to someone, I don't know, you want to, we just wouldn't.
You guys are lurkers too. You guys are little bugs.
I mean, yeah, I
little
don't.
Bugs. Just like that spec last
little
night.
Bug.
Just like the spec last night.
Little Brooklyn rat.
Little bug POV.
Little groom minion. Little groom minion going up the stairs.
Falling from the sky. That was great. I think we are. I'm gonna tell Alyssa to tone it back, but she wants to be pretty much permanent spectator. So I was like,
I enjoyed it. It was nice
to
have.
It was awesome to like talk
some
with.
variety.
Yeah.
You know, watching them like slowly lose, and then it was like, but I'm sure groom minion. Wee.
The bug POV
minion
was kind of
POV.
funny, but then like sometimes it'd just be like too high sense like pans in the background, and I'm just like. And tabs not being held. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I think they're going to use jet knives, maybe.
There's that one time. I think she got busy like spectating something else, and then she's like, "Oh, look, we're playing," and I was like, "Oh," I started clicking on my buttons. And I was like, "Oh."
I remember that we were going into it was a timeout, and we were completely done with the timeout. The timeout had ended for 10 seconds. Like Jet had already gotten the first pick. Like the round was round was almost over by the time we got back.
Me and Trae like. And something happened.
Was that one round where like it ended in like a couple seconds and like everyone just already
No, that was a different. There was a round last night though where the entire round I think took a grand total of like 20 seconds because they just pushed.
Oh, it's mid. They just push mid, right?
They pushed through split mid and B
mid.
main.
Yeah.
And me and Trae were like trying to play it as it was happening, and then we were just like, "What even happened?"
And they're dead.
No, but when Sheeb got that ghost plant like on Ascent, that was so hype. I don't know if chat thought it was as cool as I thought it was, but it was just so crazy because he was planting at the box. He like two people pushed out the smoke, but they didn't check the corner, and he got the plant down.
You might have seen it.
Maybe.
I know you weren't there. So what happened was she was planted. Do you know like
last night?
Last night.
Yeah,
I was there last night.
Well,
Were you there for
I'm
the
not
match?
sure
Or
how
was it
early. It was
map?
It was first map.
Okay, gotcha.
Do you know anything about how like Ascent in terms of?
Yeah.
So you know, it's B, right?
Yeah, he was planning in like not like towards
Right
the
in
back
front
of
of
the site,
B
in
stairs.
front of B stairs, by the box, and
In front of the box, like you
Yeah.
can literally, if you look downstairs, you can see him there, crouched, planting the bomb. 3 people from UA Toledo push out of the smoke.
Don't check him.
Sheep's full blind here. He can't see crap.
baller.
And nobody from UA Toledo looks at him. He gets the plant down. The Omen is literally on stairs watching towards the corner and doesn't see him. Sheep gets plant down, looks up after coming out of the blind, and shoots him in the head on stairs.
and that just like won them the
me
round.
and Trae are both like, what was that? What is even happening?
I remember that because I'm switching between like showing the players very briefly after they win a round because of fist bumping and stuff like that. And I try and like I get ready for it when I can tell they're gonna win. You know, like it's 4 versus 1. Like I'm getting ready to hit the transition. And this one I was like, like it's 3v1. Like he's right there. They're turning him like not gonna do it. And then he gets it, and I'm like, oh, and I quickly get it, and I flip over, and then I think it cuts to like, it was like, I think Chris, and he goes, what was that? Like,
Yeah.
you see him throwing his arms at the computer, and I was like, whoops, gonna cut back to Caster.
You're like, what was that? What was
I
that?
was like, my bad, guys.
Literally, me and Trae could like hear him yelling through the wall.
Yeah.
And just
Yeah.
out of like pure confusion.
If anyone that's yelling through the wall, it's always comfy.
It's always comfy.
It's always comfy.
But me and Trae were just so confused half the time last night. There were so many just what was that round type?
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
the amount of like just either split or ascent rounds where me and Trae were just like, we won or we lost. You know, there wasn't.
Yeah, it's like that.
Pretty decisive.
Yeah.
I don't know. So going back to casting a little bit, I know it's only possible with our current setup, but I do really love like the summit style like of couch casting, where it's just like 4 people kind of sitting there, and it just really feels like natural because they're kind of just like bantering with each other. It's like enough people and
Yeah.
they're enough friends to just like. So that's just what I kind of like about casting. I know we can't do it with our current setup really, but yeah, that's just part of why I like watching events so much, and that's more common in like not necessarily like big pro events nowadays. But you know, it's just really nice to have all those perspectives and just really see the personality come out.
Like pretty much invitationals, like Smash invitationals. I love that setup. Players are like right upstairs, especially like you said for like the Summit invitationals. They're literally playing upstairs, and like it's like Ludwig and 3 other casters down there just like having fun casting. You know, I think that's the essence of casting is like, even if you're like casting VCT, at the heart of it, I'm just trying to have a good time. You know?
Yeah.
We're watching a video game, you know?
I remember this clip, if you know anything about Smash, where MK Leo versus Riddles, he switches to Marth after being down 2-0 against him on his main. And he's like, Marth, why not? He ends up reverse 3-0 or reverse sweeping him to win 3-2. And they're just like, what was that? Because they're literally right outside.
Yeah, right.
And he comes over and they're just like, bro, you're just different. And he just walks over to the mic and he's like, I'm different. And then walks away. And that's like,
You'd never get that.
Yeah.
You'd never get that in VCT.
Which,
you know.
I love both for different reasons. Like VCT, I have a love for because it's like, it's the professional casting
Right.
I get. Like, it's as close to like old school CSGO casting that you're gonna get nowadays, because even CSGO casting nowadays just doesn't feel like
it doesn't feel
that.
the same. Yeah.
Like if you were to put like the old school like simple fake op
Right, yeah,
flash,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, like if you were to put that clip into like the recent like CSGO cast, it wouldn't come
fit.
across the
Right.
same.
Yeah.
Even though the play's still insane.
Right.
But I feel like you get more of that with Valorant, ironically, than you do with CS
I think
nowadays.
it's because it's so much more. Some moments are more spontaneous, where it's like in CS, if it's a 3v1 and you know you're not going to get it, it's like there's a lot less. But if it's like a Jet, you know, against that has her knives against 3 other players, there's a point that to be made there, especially when casting, like you can keep the energy up and the momentum of that round can continue, and that's like how it used to feel in like old CS because people were not as good as they are now, you know.
Thing is, I feel like nowadays CS has kind of like been put down to a science almost, where you can see exactly how a round's gonna play out purely based off of the positioning off rep.
Right. Well, because there is
Outside
no,
of like
you know.
specific rounds like ecos and stuff like that,
Right.
where teams just like, run it down main.
Right.
Why not?
Yeah.
But like, it doesn't feel the same anymore.
Feels kind of solved in some points, and I think that's because you can't throw a molly through a wall, you know, or you can't throw a KO knife from the other side of the map or something. It's like sure smokes, but you know it's a lot more concrete how something's gonna happen rather than like in Valorant, dude. If you got a breach going brazy, 2 points from his ult, in a 3v1, it's like he gets 2, he flashes, he stuns, he throws out the.
Rolling Thunder.
Yeah, the
and
Rolling
that's
Thunder,
just-
and then that's
Uh-huh.
now your casters are just crying because screaming into the mic because you just watch greatness on a screen. That's in CS. Those moments are like, those moments are kind of immortalized more. But in Valorant, I would say they're more frequent. Where like you'll see that once in 6 months in CS, where it's the greatest thing you've ever seen, and that clip won't go away for years.
The simple no scope
Right.
double off,
Yeah, like falling, like it's literally immortalized in the game on the map.
Mm-hmm.
But like in Valorant, dude, I could watch one VCT match and I see
Yeah.
someone clutch a 1v4. It's like, it's just so much cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a Paper X fan, everybody knows that team purely for the clutch potential.
Right.
Yeah.
PRX can make a round out of nothing, pick up sand and win the round.
It's just something different.
Yeah.
And with the Smash community compared to that, like you were saying, I feel like it's a lot more intimate because like it seems like everyone like kind of knows each other. Like you'll see the commentators be like, yeah, I saw this one player. I went to dinner with him like a week ago, and I think he's gonna do well in this tournament. And then he just comes over to the microphone, and they're just like talking about something that happened before. It's just like so much more intimate. That's what I love about that community, even though it's like kind of less professional than Valorant, like you're saying.
It's absolute. Smash is just, they're just weird like that. And in like a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
The Miami like esports Twitter account follows like a lot of our Smash players, so we get recommended more Smash players. And the amount of drama and like connections I see within that community is insane. Like I can't track it, but everyone knows each other.
Yeah, I think it's because like it started out a small scene and it kind of it doesn't remain a small scene, but in the vibe, it remains a small scene. You know, it's like they're getting like, you know, tens of thousands, you know, 50,000 views on a tournament, but it like that
feels
setup,
grassroots.
right?
Still.
It still feels like those players, they haven't got, you know, the ego over their head. Like where in VCT you're looking at a stadium with, you know, 50,000 people that are cheering your name. It's like, dude, you're in a basement with a couch and a
Yeah.
TV upstairs.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it doesn't matter how hard you push the, like, it's insane. It's like, dude, you've got 16 guys chilling. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, it's like a frat house in some way, you know?
I think we're partially biased only because Miami has so many good players. But
Yeah.
you see the like top 100 players in America, and the Miami Smash team's like, oh, look, I know that guy. Like we're buddies.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, the best player in the world. Like yeah, follows
Yeah.
me on Twitter. He's
Yeah,
a furry.
when,
I'm like, oh, thanks.
Cute.
Yeah.
When Fur was on here and he just happened to know who the 5th ranked player in Washington State was, just like off
Yeah,
the
that's
memory.
what I'm talking about.
It's
Like,
like-
they,
It was I believe it was Jojo de Hobo.
nice.
Baller name.
Because straight up, Fur was like, yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people from like the top fives and stuff from other states, just because I play a lot of like Elite Smash online, and we were like, okay, really? And Lombardi goes, who's the number 5 in Washington? And Ferb like sits there for a second,
Ponders.
and he goes, you don't actually know, do you? And he's like, I might. Lombardi pulls up his phone and goes to the Washington PR list, and he's like literally mentally checking who retired from Washington, and he's like out loud going, I mean, that guy retired, so probably Jojo de Hobo knew his mains too. And we see like Lombardi go, no way.
And
And
that was
it's
it.
literally it.
Oh,
Like,
Yeah.
that's so hype.
Smash community's just different.
the
Smash
game.
community's just built
Dude,
different.
the game.
it's so strange, but I love it.
It's so sick. The individuality of those players, like, I think is what really makes the scene stand out. Because it's like, if you're really good, it's not like anyone's like helping you. You're just goated at Smash.
Yeah.
You know, it's in the same way of like I think chess in some vein where it's like a chess player is just a chess player.
Yeah.
There is no like, oh, the team behind him. And Smash, I mean, maybe in doubles, but
Yeah.
like in Smash, it's just like they're goated. I'm decent. You know, so you just have to know everyone in that kind of same vein where it's just like, yeah, they're just good. You know, and you just have to memorize a few people that are just really good.
And as somebody who does a lot of stuff with FGC, because that's like my main area that I like is fighting games. It's pretty damn similar,
Mhm.
except for the fact I don't know. There's like a little bit more professionalism than Smash, while still being like hella grassroots. I don't. It doesn't really like make sense if that
Right.
because there's more trash talk somehow, but I don't know.
Who knows? I think fighting games are just so unique. They're
Yeah.
awesome. It started there and it's still there.
We're
you know?
weirdos.
Yeah. Fighting game people.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. It's okay. Send
it's
with
okay.
love.
It's okay.
I mean, after this, later tonight, I'm going to the Fighters Guild meeting. So,
Yeah.
Nice.
I think it's like a different mindset. Like I'm playing Rocket League, I can go, my team sucks. But if you're playing Smash, you take full accountability of like every action. I think that's almost like it's addicting in a way. Like in the same way like chess is. I can play chess for hours and I'll mold it myself. But still, at the end of the day, I still love chess and keep wanting to get better at it. I think with Smash, it's kind of the same thing.
You would think that in Smash, wouldn't you?
I would
do you,
think so.
Do you know the amount of like, You see, we have something called the Scrub Lord's Bible in like Smash/fighting games where it's never your fault. You can always find something to blame on your opponent.
That's most video games.
Yeah.
On your opponent.
Yes,
Oh,
on your
gotcha.
opponent.
Yeah.
So it's never your fault. Either it was lag, or they were
Okay.
playing in a cheap way, or your controller stopped working, or that move's busted,
Okay.
or their character's broken.
All right.
And it just keeps going.
It just keeps going.
That was my job during the Smash tryouts at Miami. I would like go around and my job was to vibe check people. Some people were like, "Oh, like there's a lag." Like I wouldn't have lost that there wasn't lag. I'd be like taking a note. I'd be like, "Yep, not on our team."
Molding.
we like went over the notes in the night and we're like, "Oh, this guy was really good." And I'm like, "Yeah, he Mulder." And we're like, "Nope, cross off the list." Like that's how Smash tryouts went. So many people were like that. It was a really weird mix. You could like divide people into like the Mulders and like normal people.
Yeah. You see, the thing is, I'll mauled after a match, but I won't mauled at the other person. I'll mauled at myself.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
Literally, like I lost at the most recent weekly. I went out, I think 1-2 or something like that, and I was pissed at myself because I shouldn't have lost my second round, at least game 2. And afterwards, I was just pissed at myself. Like the other guy didn't do anything wrong, but I would be like, fuck. And I was just like yelling at myself next to this guy. Like nothing against, he was good.
Yeah.
Nothing against him. I just felt like I didn't deserve the loss because I played poorly, you know?
I mean, I think that's what makes a great competitor is like self-accountability and the understanding that like you can always be better. You know, in pretty much any aspect of life, that's where you can like really grow. And with Smash, such a bullshit game. Yeah, I mean, you can mold it yourself, you know, and I think that's what makes you better. Should we do wrap-ups here?
Yeah, I was going to say, you probably need to start heading out
just a little
here
bit.
I don't think
soon.
we answered like 2/3 of their questions. I think we addressed we acknowledged they existed, and then we just went off.
To be honest, I mean, we don't have like
we
a
don't have-
structure.
we don't have
We don't
structure.
care
That's
that
fair.
much.
That's fair.
I mean, there was
a lot of fun.
all the new foragers did get announced yesterday, right?
Yeah.
You guys excited about all the new people? There's like
Hey.
a lot. I saw the forager like roll go like double in size, and I'm like, holy, there's so many new people here.
Yeah, we had a lot of applicants, and some of those interviews. Never forget air fryer guy.
Air fryer guy.
Stop the interview to put chicken in his air fryer and had to tell me. He could have said, "Oh, I had an issue with my mic. Like I need a second to fix it." I would be like, "Yeah, take your time." Like I would never count like technical problems against someone in an interview. No, he was like, "Yeah, I'm making chicken in my air fryer right now." And I was like,
But that's an honest man, no?
he's an honest man, but I was like, "You couldn't have paused this for like 15 more minutes. You have to make the chicken right now, or put it and like walk away." Because he was standing next to it, I could hear the humming. I thought the humming was from his mic being like low quality, and again, I was like, "Oh, you know, happens." No, I could the humming stopped. I could hear hear it beeping, like pull out the tray of it, beeping. He pushed it back in. I heard the clicking, and the humming started again. I was like, entire 20-minute interview, just standing next to his air fryer.
I think my standout moment from interviews was that guy that was going through like the games that he could or wanted to cast. I didn't really have an interest. He just wanted to be on the Smash team. And he goes, "Yeah, like Valorant, I don't know much about. I mean, Rocket League, anyone could cast that game well." I was sitting there like, this guy would never be on my team.
Yeah.
Like, so sick. Get on the desk with me, bro. Like, please. That was
Did
my
you say anything right then?
No, I just thought, I was like, dude, you just solidified your ticket off the team.
Yeah.
Like, he was just really like arrogant. And I mean, out of all other things, I was just molding. I was like, dude, fucking 9 years
I
to
liked
get
him
here.
and everyone else, and we were like, "Oh, like which games of ours do you know the best? Like, what could you cast? Which could you spectate?" And they're like, "Oh, Dead by Daylight. I'm a big fan of Rainbow Six." And I'm like, "You like?" They keep going on. I'm like, "You just named 10 games. We don't have. They are not in our varsity lineup. We have like 6 games, and you named 10 incorrect ones."
Yeah.
The thing is, like, when my interview with Darcy, I'm not sure if you remember it because you had so many interviews. I gave like probably 5 or 6 games that I felt like I could spectate / cast somewhat, and
Yeah.
Dude, I just assaulted them.
Yeah, let's close this up with a good old assault.
I was originally
Make sure
gonna,
Wake listen to this.
I was originally gonna say something about Rocket League, but then in like the back of my brain, I remembered the conversation I had with you in the production room where you were like, "Yeah, could you recognize a backfield rotate?"
Oh yeah, back post rotation.
Instantly? And I was like, "I know what you're talking about, but not like." And
Yeah,
I was
while
just
trying
like,
to watch 5 other people.
that's a good idea for me to just not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rocket League is such a game where you can, like, Valorant, you can be like, oh, he shot him. But with Rocket League, it's so easy to sound stupid, and then in VOD review, they'll be like, oh, you just said that wrong. You know, where it's like, oh, the boost management here is great, and the players and people who know will pick it out and be like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking
Yeah.
about.
That's what I do during Overwatch. That's what I'm
Yes,
saying. I'm like, Roadhog and Lucio, they go great together. And then I know the Overwatch team watches the VODs.
Oh, yeah.
And are like, this girl's a dumbass. And I'm like, yeah. I
is
just
what
kind
it
of
is.
panic. I'll just say whatever.
But all right, we actually should start wrapping up and not like tangent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all right,
no
all
more
right.
tangents. No more
All right.
tangents.
Is there anything you guys want to shout out? I guess we do. There is the Red Cross stream, but this might come out after that. But anything else like big streamed events you're in, or like just any socials?
Please just look at our broadcast and like my tweets. Please.
Please just look at our broadcast and like our tweets. That's from me
Please,
too.
I'm begging.
So
Um,
just Miami University on Twitter.
Yeah,
Miami
Red
Univers-
Hawks GG on all social. I'll do the fucking broadcast
Oh.
outro here. Red Hawks GG on all socials.
Miami University on Twitch.
Miami University on Twitch. Please give this podcast, obviously, follow, keep up with this. This is awesome.
Let's go.
Had a great time doing it. This was
Yeah,
awesome.
this was
and,
fun.
I think it worked out really well, me and you being on here.
Yes.
Because very,
We
very
have a
different.
really good dynamic,
Yeah, we do
I
have a
think.
good dynamic. Very different stories here.
Yeah.
But highly recommend. This was awesome. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I mean, thank you guys
Thank
for
you
coming out and
thank you
taking the
for,
time.
being on.
We appreciate
course.
it. So thank you guys for tuning in to the podcast, and hope you
Thanks
guys
for
have a good
watching.
day.
Yep.
Have a good one.